Cannons tear open the darkness. Muskets flash like lightning across a black sky. Horses rear, screaming. Shadows move. Soldiers shout warnings of an enemy charge no one can see. Steel clashes. Men fall. Commanders scream orders that vanish into the night. But there is no enemy, no ambush, no trap, only thousands of soldiers killing their own comrades, convinced they are under attack. How does one of the most powerful armies in Europe destroy itself in a single night? The year is 1788. Across the continent, empires sharpen their swords. The mighty Habsburg Monarchy prepares for war against its ancient rival, the Ottoman Empire. For decades, the borderlands of Eastern Europe have been a fault line between civilizations. Whoever dominates them controls trade routes, fortresses, and the balance of power itself. At the center of this confrontation stands Emperor Joseph II, a ruler obsessed with reform, discipline, and military prestige. He believes war will prove his genius. Victory, he thinks, will silence critics who whisper that he is more philosopher than commander. Reality will prove otherwise. His army marches toward the frontier near the town of Karánsebes, deep in contested territory. Tens of thousands of troops advance under imperial banners, cavalry, infantry, artillery, a show of strength meant to intimidate the enemy before battle even begins. On paper, the force is unstoppable. In reality, it is dangerously fragile. The army is not a single people. It is a patchwork empire in uniform. Germans, Hungarians, Croats, Italians, Romanians, Serbs, Poles. Many cannot understand each other. Orders must be translated, repeated, and interpreted. In daylight, this slows command. In darkness, it will become fatal. Still, confidence fills the ranks. Commanders believe size means strength. History is about to prove that confusion can be deadlier than enemies. Night falls over the camp. The frontier lies silent. Somewhere beyond the hills, Ottoman forces are rumored to be advancing. Scouts ride ahead to search for signs of movement. They do not find soldiers. They find merchants. Traveling traders approach with barrels of liquor to sell. It is a common sight during wartime. Armies attract opportunists. The scouts purchase drinks, then more. Discipline softens. Laughter replaces vigilance. The tension of campaign life dissolves into drunken relief. Moments later, reinforcements arrive from the main force. They see the alcohol. They want some. The scouts refuse to share. The argument begins as shouting. It becomes shoving. And then, a shot explodes into the night. No one knows who fired, but the sound changes everything. In an instant, fear ignites. Soldiers spin toward the darkness. Someone yells a warning. Another hears something else. Within seconds, rumors spread faster than commands. The Turks are here! No officer confirms it, no scout verifies it, yet the words move through the ranks like wildfire through dry grass. Exhaustion clouds judgment. Weeks of marching have drained the soldiers. Many are already tense, expecting attack at any moment. In that state, the human mind does something dangerous. It stops asking whether fear is justified and starts assuming it must be. What happens next shocks even seasoned historians. Officers shout, "Halt! Halt!" trying to steady their men. But many soldiers do not speak German. Through the confusion, the word "halt" is misheard as something else. Allah! To terrified troops already primed for battle, it sounds like an enemy war cry. Panic detonates. Cavalry units whirl their horses and bolt away from the noise. Infantry see mounted troops fleeing and assume they are retreating from an attack. They turn and run too. Wagons overturn, wheels snap, equipment spills across the ground. In the darkness, shapes move unpredictably. Someone fires a musket at a silhouette. Another soldier sees the flash and fires back. Within seconds, gunfire erupts in every direction. No one knows who is shooting whom. Officers try to restore order. Many are shot by their own men before they can speak. Commands dissolve into screams. Trumpets blare conflicting signals. Drums pound retreat and advance at the same time. The chain of command collapses, and then disaster strikes. Artillery crews, hearing gunfire and seeing fleeing cavalry, assume the enemy has launched a surprise assault. They load their cannons and fire into the darkness. The blasts are deafening. Cannonballs tear through friendly ranks. Horses are ripped apart. Infantry formations shatter. Smoke blankets the battlefield, turning night into blindness. Now the army is certain. They believe they are surrounded. Entire regiments fire volleys into shadows. Soldiers swing bayonets at shapes that vanish when struck. Men shout warnings in different languages no one understands. Each group believes the others are enemies. History is witnessing a battle without an opponent. The chaos grows worse. Units retreat in opposite directions, each convinced they are escaping an advancing force. Some rush toward a nearby river, thinking it is their only path to safety. In the darkness, they misjudge its depth. Dozens plunge into the water and drown under the weight of their gear. Behind them, cavalry charges blindly through their own infantry lines, trampling wounded men into the mud. Wagons crash into each other. Cannons overturn. Horses bolt into the night, dragging broken harness and screaming drivers. The battlefield becomes a storm of noise, smoke, and terror, and still no enemy appears. Hours pass. Gunfire echoes across the plains. Men hide behind rocks, trees, wagons, firing at anything that moves. Some soldiers crawl through the grass, trying to escape what they believe is a massacre. Others fire wildly until their ammunition runs out. Some collapse from exhaustion, convinced death is seconds away. Then, slowly, the shooting fades. Dawn begins to rise. Gray light spills across the landscape. The survivors look around. The truth emerges. There are no Ottoman troops, no enemy banners, no advancing army, only bodies, broken equipment, dead horses, wounded men calling for help. The imperial army has fought itself. Silence settles over the field like a verdict. Estimates of casualties vary. Some reports claim hundreds dead. Others suggest thousands. Exact numbers may never be known. Records from the campaign are inconsistent, and imperial officials later downplay the scale of the disaster. But one fact is undeniable. The army is shattered. Survivors wander the countryside in shock, many still convinced an attack might come at any moment. Units are scattered for miles. Supply wagons lie abandoned. Artillery pieces sit unmanned. Discipline is gone. Confidence is gone. When Ottoman forces finally arrive days later, they encounter almost no resistance. They find an imperial army already defeated, not by strategy, not by superior weapons, but by its own fear. Leaders had expected glory. Instead, they inherited humiliation. Even the emperor himself narrowly escapes capture during the confusion. For a ruler who sought military prestige, the night becomes a permanent stain on his reputation. The campaign never fully recovers its momentum. Yet, the true significance of this disaster is not measured in casualties or lost supplies. It is measured in what it reveals about human nature. Historians later dissect the event as one of the most dramatic examples of mass panic in military history. They discover a chilling pattern. Armies rarely collapse from enemy strength alone. More often, they collapse from within, from miscommunication, exhaustion, rumor, and fear. The Battle of Karánsebes becomes a case study taught in war colleges centuries later, not because of tactics, because of psychology. It proves that perception can be more lethal than reality. Modern commanders study it when designing communication systems. Linguists analyze it when examining battlefield language barriers. Psychologists examine it as evidence of how quickly panic spreads through groups under stress. In the span of a few hours, a disciplined imperial force transformed into a mob driven by instinct and terror. Two unexpected truths emerge from the incident. First, no enemy strategy caused the disaster. There was no clever ambush, no hidden trap. The Ottomans were nowhere near the battlefield that night. The entire catastrophe was self-created. Second, the event was not unique in principle. Similar friendly fire disasters have occurred throughout history, from ancient armies to modern wars. The difference is scale. Rarely has an entire army turned its weapons on itself so completely. The night at Karánsebes forces historians to confront an uncomfortable reality. Civilizations pride themselves on discipline, hierarchy, and control. Armies represent the peak of that order, trained, drilled, commanded. Yet beneath the uniforms and formations lies something older than strategy: fear. And fear obeys no command. In the end, no grand battle was fought. No heroic charge decided the day. No enemy general claimed victory. Instead, history recorded a different kind of defeat, one delivered not by swords or cannons, but by the human mind. Because sometimes the deadliest battlefield is not the one filled with enemies. Sometimes it is the one filled with shadows. And when fear becomes the enemy, even the strongest army on earth can pull the trigger on itself. An army marched into the night expecting battle and destroyed itself instead. This documentary reveals the shocking true story of the 1788 disaster at Karánsebes. Discover how confusion, fear, and language barriers turn soldiers into enemies. See why historians still study this night as one of history's strangest military catastrophes. Perception can be more lethal than reality. Subscribe for more dark, forgotten history that changed the world, because the past is far more terrifying than fiction.